finally, what colour is the Emerald City?
I think I know a weird fact about the Wizard of Oz, which I didn't realise until recently, which is that it's an allegory for America. The farmers are the straw man, and they need a brain. And industry was the tin man, and industry doesn't have a heart. Wow. And the lion was the politicians, and that they didn't have any courage.
You're absolutely right. But it's not what we were looking for. We were looking for the colour.
Well, is the answer green, then? Hey! Oh, damn it. I knew something. I knew something.
Yes. Emerald. Yes. Yellow.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. Let's get things started off. Coming from the New York Post, RFK Jr. says he's resigned from anti-vaccine nonprofit as he seeks to become U.S.'s health leader. Health leader is a strong term to use. It's a strong term to use with RFK Jr. in the same sentence. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is distancing himself from his anti-vaccine work as he seeks to become the leader of the nation's top health agency under President Donald Trump, according to government ethics documents released Wednesday. I find it very funny that all of these nominees are waiting until not just the 11th hour. They're waiting until 11th hour and 59 minutes and 59 seconds to now want to distance themselves from who they are. Kennedy has pulled in roughly $10 million in income from his work over the past year, which includes speaking fees, leading an anti-vaccine nonprofit, and legal fees and government ethics forms filed for his nomination show. He has millions of dollars more tied up in investments and other assets. If confirmed, he has promised to stop collecting fees on some. Let's run that back. If confirmed, he has promised to stop collecting fees on some of his vaccine lawsuits involving the U.S. government. How the fuck you? That's like suing your spouse and staying married. Or getting engaged to planning on proposing to someone, but still trying to sue them. Kennedy is a lawyer who has worked on lawsuits involving environmental and vaccine injury claims against some of the country's biggest companies. He also said he would forego payment from claims against the U.S. under the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. Bobby J. Just go ahead and get assessed for autism. It's not bad on the autism side. It really isn't. But you're fighting tooth and nail to not wear the moniker of autism, and it shows. A spokesperson for Kennedy did not immediately respond to a request for comment Wednesday about the filing. As of December, Kennedy said in the filing that he is no longer serving as chairman or chief legal counsel for the Children's Health Defense, his nonprofit that launched lawsuits against the federal government over vaccines, including the authorization of the COVID-19 shot for children. He previously made $326,000 salary for 3 months of work at the nonprofit in 2023. And this is why nonprofits can't really help people. $326,000 for 3 months worth of work. We talking about potentially becoming strippers or going to OnlyFans. You know what? Let me be a nonprofit CEO just for a little bit, just a little bit, just in and out real quick. The fuckity fuck. You can't make this shit up. I wish you could, but you can't. You really, really can't. You absolutely cannot. In case you did not know, ICE raids have begun. And maybe not in the way that you thought. So take a look. We'll talk on the other side. Now I know, because if the United States does nothing else, the United States loves to dwell in stupidity and ignorance. There are people online going, oh, to protect our undocumented brothers and sisters, our naturalized citizens, our birthright citizens, just pretend to be undocumented. Do not. Do not, because this isn't like a regular arrest or somebody picking you up for questioning. They don't have to notify anybody that they have you. They're not going to look at your birth certificate or your passport and go, oopsies, we made a mistake. You're not guaranteed a phone call. You're not guaranteed legal representation. They don't have to tell your family, friends, no one where you are. You have just disappeared. You have just disappeared. You're not going to sit there for 30 minutes, a couple of hours, or even a couple of days. You could be sitting there for years before you're potentially released. That was an ICE raid on an attorney's office. So those of y'all that are sitting there going, oh, it'll take years to get this done. Oh, there was a halt on this. Oh, you shouldn't be worried. What part of Trump and this new administration says that they're going to do anything legally? That says that they're going to do anything by the book? The difference between Nazi Germany and us right now is that we have a better idea of what the playbook is, and we know where Trump's getting the playbook from, and we know where Hitler got the playbook from before him. Stop sitting back saying, I'm getting madder by the day. Oh, this can't be right. At least we have protections under this law. Everybody knows there's been no point since this country was colonized, since it was stolen, and the current government that we have was established, has everyone been protected under anything? And this government and the oligarchy that has assembled like Voltron in DC will do as much as you allow, and as much as you sit back and don't say shit, they're going to keep allowing it. I need y'all to wake up and realize we have allowed a small subset of the United States populace to rule us. We have the numbers and we have the actual power, and they know it. But you have convinced yourself that you can't do anything, and they're going to do it anyway because you're letting them, because they know you're going to take that stance. If Friday came around and you don't get paid, and you sit back and go, well, I kind of figured they would do something like that anyway. You think your boss, you think that payroll department is going to be like, oh, we made a whoopsie, let's go ahead and pay. If you don't make a stink, they ain't going to say shit. And that's what's happening now. And I need y'all to wake up. Stop downplaying people's fears and their concerns. Stop doing it, because the last time y'all did that, a multitude of children were separated from their parents, and many of them remain separated from their parents. And for the love of all things holy, stop with the fucking conspiracy theories. There's no conspiracy theory. Just look at the fucking facts and combat the facts. Y'all are derailing every conversation, and we cannot have any fucking forward motion. We can't even have a planning discussion. Oh, they're just trying to traffic, and they're just y'all make everything a fucking conspiracy theory. This is not a damn Lifetime movie. This is not an MCU production. Nobody at the end of the day is going to be like, cut. Good job, you guys. Good job. We'll run some edits tomorrow and look out for a new script. No. The cut is the end of life. You can't bring people back from the grave. And no, I'm not fear-mongering. Y'all think, oh, they're just going to detain some people, or people are going to be inconvenienced for a while, or maybe a few people will become homeless. That results in death. All of the campaign promises that Trump made and I'm going to do, he has not focused on none of that shit. And his sycophants knew that he wasn't. This is why you had a woman sitting on camera going, I generally send my daughter to school with crackers, pepperoni, and cheese. And y'all believed it. And I had to count out the cheese. There wasn't enough for that woman to snack on. And she said, I don't want to buy more. Not I can't afford to buy more. They told you to your face. They knew what they were voting for. The only thing they learned from history is, hey, until overwhelmingly it seems this is looked upon favorably, I'm going to pretend like I'm on the other side. As I stated on another podcast, there are no longer safe zones. Before, unless you were a threat to public safety overwhelmingly, they could not come into a school, a daycare, a place of worship, a funeral, things like that. Now they can. Now they can. In Kentucky, they're going into school to get children. And before you start the conspiracy theories, it's not really about the children. These people are not going to just up and leave and abandon their children. So when they come, boom, they got the whole family. The amount of money, y'all are worried about them taking away Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We can't sustain it. We can't sustain it predominantly because of the top 1% that will draw from those programs that they generally find tax loopholes out of paying into in the first place. And as many people as they deny getting the funds that are rightfully theirs, we won't be able to sustain ourselves. Our economy is going to tank. The amount of people that they are putting out of work right now. Plus, a lot of industries that U.S. citizens refuse to work, and in many cases don't have the skill set to work. This is going to be worse than the Great Depression. And their great replacement theory, they are going to usher in, because this right now, you are seeing them work off of ignorance and not fact. They're removing programs and structures that actually benefit them. They are not prepared for a Great Depression 2.0. During the first one, they were killing themselves off in droves. They were killing off family members. And they've made fun over the years of family members who were so traumatized by the Great Depression that they kept money at home, that they stopped doing that. And they look at everything as assets. During a Great Depression, what you gonna sell? Because that value has tanked and there's no one to buy it. They don't have the survival skills. And before you go, well, Taz, I know you're going to bring up slavery when they brought people over, but we're so removed from that. They've learned how to take care of themselves. No, they haven't. This is why the greatest commodity sold is still blackness. If they can't steal ideas from us, they have nothing to be profitable on. But they didn't learn from recent history either, because COVID-19 killed them off in droves. And what have they decided to do? Take a look.
So, yes, the Trump administration has issued a memo to all federal health agencies to pause any communication with the public. This includes agencies like the FDA, the CDC, and the NIH, and they include all public communications, health updates, advisories, research updates, updates to websites, and social media posts. So for now, while this pause is in effect, all of the communications which would normally be released to the public have to be sent to and approved by a presidential appointee before being released. The memo also told federal health employees not to engage in any public speaking engagements without having their remarks reviewed by the presidential appointee, and the same thing with giving any information about health updates to Congress or governors without having it reviewed prior. Now, sources familiar with the matter say that this isn't necessarily that unheard of in the beginning of a presidential transition to put a pause on communications while they sort of, get some breathing room to figure out what all the information is, especially when there's a lot of it. But some people say that the scope and the length of the pause is a little weird. And one of the pieces of communication, the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Reporter, MMWR, which I receive every week as a doctor, was going to talk about updates in avian influenza as it's spreading in poultry populations and cattle, and how it affects people in close proximity to those animals, but that is currently also on pause. And it's important to note that a lot of these communications don't only update the public, but they update physicians like myself about things like infectious disease outbreaks, food and drug recalls, updates in treatment of certain medical conditions, and advancements in certain therapies. So this pause is, it's a little concerning. Now, with that being said, they said that this shouldn't affect any sort of emergency communication if there is a threat to public health, like a natural disaster or an infectious disease outbreak. They said it shouldn't impact that. But it's important to note that Trump tried to do this before in 2020 during the pandemic when he was president last time. He tried to sort of edit and revise a lot of the CDC updates because he wasn't happy with the facts that were coming out, because they conflicted with his sort of rosy disposition about how the pandemic was going in his mind. So we'll see where this goes. Apparently this is going to last until February 1st. I hope it doesn't last much longer, because we do need this information to flow from these agencies to help us inform our practice and decision making. But this coupled with Trump pulling out of the WHO doesn't give me the warm fuzzy feeling that I hope, but hopefully we'll start getting this information back soon. So I'll keep you posted.
Now we know part of the reason why anything poultry related, those prices are sky high because of bird flu. But just to let you know, ready to eat meat and poultry products, a listeria outbreak, dengue, a measles outbreak, and coronavirus, COVID-19, is still Araposh, dengue, mpox, and COVID-19 are international outbreaks. And then there are travel health notices. Level 1 malaria in Ethiopia, level 1 possible Marburg in Tanzania, level 1 Oriposh in the Americas, level 2 global polio. Yeah, polio. Anti-vaxxers travel. Level 2 mpox in Central and Eastern Africa, and level 2 chikungunya in India. He wants to be able to skew things to make it seem like he has everything under control. We're not in danger, as we will literally watch people die again. And we know that his sycophants will lie. His sycophants lied so bad the last time that they lost friends and family members and continued the lie. That is a sickness that truly, truly needs to be studied. It really does. And amidst no updates going out, no background checks for at least 6 months for people already working in the White House and getting critical classified information, RFK and Dr. For those that fantasize about a day and time with horses and buggies and everything else, you're essentially going to be living that way. You're essentially going to be living that way. So I guess we'll see who really is their ancestors and who really isn't. And speaking of which, Jan Sixers are being released.
Let's go! Let's go! Keep it down! Let's go, Gilbert! Brother! Oh, yeah! Let's go, brothers! Welcome. Let's go. God bless you guys. Let's go. Give me a jacket.
Sweet. Next. All right.
Here we go.
Yeah, you saw that right. They're signing autographs. They're signing autographs. And I want you to also consider the impact this has on younger people. People who have struggled making friends, finding community. Let me repeat this. The oldest of Gen Alpha will be eligible to vote in the next presidential election. These people feel that they're invincible. Y'all have all probably met a kid whose parents make every excuse for them. The school wants to suspend them. The parents make a fuss and the suspension goes away. The kid crashes cars, steals stuff. Parents got connections in the police department or the district attorney's office, make everything go away. And how heinous that child becomes. We're about to have hundreds of thousands of them. As a matter of fact, they're already talking about retribution and retaliation. They're already talking about finding out where the bad apples are in their communities. And coming from HuffPost, QAnon shaman makes yikes-inducing comment after Trump pardon for January 6th. Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman, whose headdress of horns and makeup made him one of the more prominent faces of the Capitol riot, declared he was going to purchase firearms after being pardoned by President Donald Trump. Yeah, because with a pardon, everything's reinstated. They can vote again. They can own and purchase weapons. I just got the news from my lawyer. I got a pardon, baby, he wrote on X Monday. Thank you, President Trump. Now I'm going to buy some motherfucking guns. I love this country. God bless America. Well, America is a continent, but yeah, pish posh. J6ers are getting released and justice has come. Everything done in the dark will come to light, he added. Yeah, it was coming to light in you all's prosecutions. It was coming to light then. I have never seen such widespread lying so much that you begin to believe your lies or just quadrupling down on the fucking lies for clout. But you know what? Can't say that I'm surprised. Because on social media, we've allowed it to happen year after year after year after year after year. Chansley, who carried a spear into the Capitol on January 6, 2021, pleaded guilty to felony obstruction of an official proceeding. He pled guilty. He was among the first wave of trespassers in the Capitol building and admitted to using a bullhorn to incite rioters. So, what did they do to you in the dark? Like, you were caught in still photos, camera footage, you admitted what you did. He sat where Vice President Mike Pence was seated earlier on the Senate floor, refused to leave the premises, and left a note on the desk that read, "It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming." Justice came to you, and then justice was overturned. They bitch slapped the fuck. I shouldn't say that. Trump bitch slapped the fuck out of Lady Justice. Knocked her smooth out. Knocked her head between the wall and the washer and dryer. He served 27 months in prison before an early release and was transferred to a halfway house in his hometown of Phoenix, Arizona in March 2023. He was released that May. "I regret nothing," Chansley said in an interview on Tuesday. "I'm a better man because of what I went through." The fuck did you go through? You went on a hunger strike until you could get your bougie vegetarian/vegan cuisine, and they obliged. What did you go? At one point, he disavowed the QAnon movement, the Associated Press reported in 2023. Jacob Chansley, also known as the QAnon shaman at Right, is confronted by U.S. Capitol Police officers outside the Senate chamber. Yeah. Like I said, still photos and video. After swearing in on Monday, Trump granted clemency to about 1,500 convicted in the January 6, 2021 attack to overturn Joe Biden's rightful victory. The president's inclusion of those who assaulted police, such as DJ Rodriguez, are reportedly extended beyond what his own party wanted and has prompted further controversy. And just to let you know, Michael Fanone, the police officer that was beaten and tased to the point where he had a heart attack, was told by the current Department of Justice that he's no longer a victim, and recently his mother's home was swatted. The same Michael Fanone that Magadonians are blaming and saying he was responsible for the riots. But these people admitted what they did. And yes, I'm very well of the Fraternal Order of Police going, "Hey, we condemn you for doing these pardons. Fraternal Order of Police, you can suck a rusty dick. Okay? Leave the Tin Man's costume out in the elements for 10 years and y'all come back and let him fuck you in the ass." Trump has said all along what he intended to do, and you still backed him. You encouraged people to vote for him, and you endorsed him. And the police officers that Biden was forced to preemptively pardon to save them from retribution from Trump have stated that you thin blue line, back to blue motherfuckers have not been there for them. And even with you condemning Trump, you're still not being there for them. I'm going to need everybody to stop playing a good guy on TV and actually decide if they want to actually be one. Coming from the BBC, convicted U.S. Capitol rioter turns down Trump pardon. One of the people who served jail time for taking part in the U.S. Capitol riot 4 years ago has refused a pardon from President Donald Trump, saying, "We were wrong that day." Pamela Hemphill, who pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 60 days in prison, told the BBC that there should be no pardons for the riot on January 6, 2021. Accepting a pardon would only insult the Capitol Police officers, rule of law, and of course, our nation, she said. "I pleaded guilty because I was guilty, and accepting a pardon also would serve to contribute to their gaslighting and false narrative." Yeah, I'm awake. Yep, I'm awake. Okay. Hemphill, who was nicknamed the MAGA Granny by social media users in reference to Trump's Make America Great Again slogan, said she saw the Trump government as trying to rewrite history, and I don't want to be a part of that. I'm glad she's turning down the pardon. Hemphill, are you finally going to turn over a new leaf and stop being so anti-Black and racist? I didn't forget. That's why I didn't follow through with my invite for you to come over on here and talk. We were wrong that day. We broke the law. There should be no pardon, she told the BBC World Services Newsday's program. Trump's decision to pardon or commute the sentences of nearly 1,600 people involved in the attempt to violently overturn the 2020 election came just hours into his presidency. In a news conference on Tuesday at the White House, he said, "These people have already served years in prison, and they've served them viciously." Congress people visited them in prison and they was chilling. And I remember that one conference where y'all recreated bullshit about them being in prison, and that looked like a cakewalk. Like, the fuck? Like, this wasn't The Wire. Like, what? They weren't sent off to Alcatraz. What the hell? What the? It's a disgusting prison. It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing. What the fuck did you think you were going to sleepaway camp? This is why I say the United States lives vicariously through movies, and in this weird duality get pissed at people outside of the United States basing United States citizens and residents off of what they see on TV. Like, there was a video of a woman basing what she believes that all of us in the United States eat because of a television show and a handful of movies that she saw. But motherfuckers who actually live here really think, because I remember there were plenty of people like, oh, well, I'll be able to lose weight and I'll tone up and I'll do this. And they're like, it was horrible. It's a fucking punishment. Like, have we lost the plot that bad? It's a fucking punishment. I can't. Now, of course, we must discuss the topic of the hour. And if you have not seen the fact that the ADL has now changed its tune regarding initially giving an excuse and attempting to infantilize Elon Musk and offer him grace, the video is not only on my TikTok page, but it is over here. And side note, we are halfway there to being able to monetize this account. Need 500 more followers. So if you do like the content, share it with your friends, encourage them to subscribe. But there is a caveat. I need y'all to watch the content because I have to rack up so many hours in addition in order to be able to monetize. So if you could do that, even if you just watch the shorts or just watch the podcast, that'd be great. That'd be great. That'd be great. Right. This ain't Shawshank Redemption. Like, and even Shawshank, like, your boy booty hole got busted out. Sorry, not sorry, but it did. I shed a little tear. But there'll be 3 videos back to back. After that's done, got 2 articles for you, but we're going to discuss it. See you in tune 2.
The Nazi salute in Germany and in Austria. So anybody minded to tell me that that's not what Elon Musk was doing must encourage him to go and do it in Germany and see what happens. And in fact, if you don't think it was a Nazi salute, why don't you do it at parents' night next time you're at your kid's school? Or just do it now if you're at work and see what happens. I think that's probably the best way to test it. Do it. Make sure you do it twice as well, and make sure you hit your chest first before you throw your arm in the air. It's also illegal.
Wow, people are really bent out of shape over a hand gesture. Well, what was it? What was what? What was the hand gesture? What do you mean? What hand gesture did he do? Oh, it was, like my heart goes out to you, like a hand on your heart, palm up, like heart goes out. No, it was more of a salute, like a hand to your chest, straight arm kind of salute. So his hand started here and then he went straight up and out. Yeah. Like a Yahtzee salute. No. Can you explain to me how it's different? Well, it's different because it was in the heat of the moment, and Roman, and he's autistic. You know it's still the Yahtzee salute, even if any of those things are simultaneously true. Wow, just like the left to assume everyone's a Yahtzee, even a hand gesture that was clearly something else. Okay, fine. Show me the hand gesture. What? Do the hand gesture and show me how it was clearly something else. Well, Google is free, like you always say. You can look it up. I could, but you're right here, so show me. I don't want to. Is that because you don't want to do a Yahtzee salute? No, that's not it, because that's not what it was. That's not what it was, but you can't explain to me how it's different, and you feel uncomfortable doing the gesture, so you can't show me how it's different, but somehow it's different. Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah. Totally different.
I just want to say I love you guys.
So apparently he does know how to give his heart out to a crowd without making it controversial. You can keep saying it's because he's goofy or neurodivergent or excited, but clearly he has enough self-awareness and agency to act completely appropriate in front of large crowds. If he wanted it to appear like he was giving his heart to a crowd, he would have done it the same as he has before.
Stop infantilizing racist. Also, stop demonizing people. First, it was if somebody did something you didn't like, they were bipolar. If somebody did something racist, they have trauma, they have depression, now they're autistic. You are showing how little you respect and value people who actually live with those things. But keep up trying to prove a point by moving this close to the camera and shifting half your body off camera and doing the salute. Coming from HuffPost, Elon Musk doubles down on salute controversy with a bunch of Nazi jokes. Elon Musk, billionaire advisor to President Donald Trump, leaned into the accusations that his Monday salute was a siege heil gesture with a series of trollish Nazi puns on X. And Elon Musk is far more than an advisor. I posted a video today on TikTok where Trump himself said in the Oval Office about somebody like, I don't really know about them because Elon Musk doesn't like them. This is our current president. Don't say Hess to Nazi accusations, Musk wrote Thursday, referring to a German Nazi Party leader, Adolf Hitler's deputy, Rudolf Hess. Yeah. And that's what made the ADL switch their tune. And it's like, you gave him carte blanche. When you said to extend grace, and that's not what it was, and you weren't offended. It's amazing that you could see anti-Semitism clearly when it was Kanye West. You called saying free Palestine anti-Semitic, but crickets now. Quickly, Michael Rappaport, you were talking about how Jewish people are the most persecuted, especially in the United States. Where you at now? But I'm to all the Congress people that were screaming and calling university presidents in and claiming that pro-Palestinian protests were anti-Semitic and these people should be fired. Where you at? Where you at? Because standing up against Elon Musk and Jewish people saying, hey, this ain't cool, boycott, could plausibly diminish Elon Musk's net worth enough that he won't have the power and influence that he has currently. Coming from Fortune, German museum removed space exhibit featuring Elon Musk because it didn't have room for a comprehensive historical portrayal of billionaire. Or is it because his salute was featured on the side of a Tesla factory in Berlin? And just so you know, the footage was played for a variety of people in Germany, and they were appalled. And they called it a Nazi salute. And this is why the German ambassador to the United States has grave concerns regarding this current administration. One of the world's largest science and technology museums, located in Germany, has removed a space exhibit that prominently featured Elon Musk, explaining it didn't have the space to include a comprehensive historical portrayal of the world's richest man. Yeah, you do. You don't need that much space. He sued to get his name on here. He sued to get credit for everything. He's never really invented shit. He's a bully. Comprehensive history. Right there. Bingo boingo. You can even throw in there that he's a racist, born of racists who were born of racist. Don't believe me? Look it up. His grandparents, his maternal grandparents, were part of the Nazi Party of Canada. They specifically moved to South Africa because of apartheid. In its astronautics exhibition, the Munich-based Deutsches Museum displayed a panel entitled Visionaries from the Past and Present. This included portraits of German space scientists like Max Valier and Erich Theodor Lassig, in addition to South Africa-born SpaceX founder Elon Musk. Hermann Oberth is also featured in the expedition. Oberth is credited for his pioneering work in rocket technology. However, he also assisted in Nazis' war effort, which utilized slave labor, and was awarded the War Merit Cross in 1943 by the then government. And Musk is in good company, because he's essentially trying to force his employees to be slave labor. The museum, however, has decided to cover the glass front featuring these faces due to the difficulty in representing a contemporary figure, as first reported by the German publication Süddeutsche Zeitung. It can also be problematic to pay tribute to people who are still alive in such a prominent position in an exhibition, whether they're alive or dead. A bitch is a bitch is a bitch. I mean, if you want to feature a bitch, go ahead. But own the fact that you want to feature a bitch, that you don't give a fuck that they're a bitch. You just give a fuck that people respect them for being a bitch. Because such a presentation can be seen as an uncritical tribute. It's unethical, it's immoral, it is wrong, and there are plenty of other scientific minds you could feature. But it seems like there's a certain hue and mindset one must have to be featured. Just saying. Just seems it's a little light bright. And a person's lifetime achievements can often only be correctly assessed in retrospect. No, they can be assessed in real time. Like I said, a bitch is a bitch is a bitch. There's only room for a few lines of text on the exhibition panel, which does not allow a comprehensive historical portrayal of a person or the classification of their life's achievements. A bullshit. You are a museum. You determine how big or how small that the plaques are. I've been to museums where it's been fucking volumes underneath it. You can give a comprehensive, and for Elon Musk and him, just say these are some bitch asses. They're fucking racist. They did some fuck shit. But they came up with some stuff that was useful to society as a whole. But how they got there was fucked up. Trying to wait for them to die and give it a few years because you think people are going to forget who the fuck they were, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. As much as you try to make it not forever, history is forever, you fuckers. Germany, I thought y'all learned, but you learned about as much as the US. Not too much. Not too fucking much. The spokesperson said that the nature of the exhibit's design meant it was difficult to react to current news events and changes could only be made with considerable effort. The museum added that the information for the exhibition was included several years ago. So y'all didn't know Musk was a bitch several years ago? Because we did. We knew he was a bitch. How'd you miss that he was a bitch? He been a bitch for a while, just like his creepy ass, handsy ass brother, a bitch, and his daddy that, popping out kids with stepdaughters. Like, the fuck? Like, how you look at the bitch family and not realize that they produce bitches? So we just playing stupid. Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Whew. Now, before we close out, just want to remind you all, for those of you all that are actively trying to deconstruct, or those of you all that just want to learn more about Black history, which is also global history, one, there are resources in my bio. As always, there are resources also on this platform. But as a, I guess, comprehensive study guide in real time, if you will, to connect the dots between what's going on in the historical context behind it, you can find that on my Substack. Feel free to subscribe there. There is a new Spotify podcast out. And keep in mind, there are now Saturday history classes. We are starting with Black history in the 1600s, and we're going global with it. Last week, we discussed some Black history from the continent of Africa. This week, we're moving it over to the United States, and we're going to bippity boppity boop all around and get it up to present day. Keep in mind, if you like the podcast and the information that you get here, please share, and encourage others to subscribe, and make sure, at the very least, you watch the podcast, but if not, skip around and watch a few other videos. Thank you for joining me here, and I want to leave you with this final thought.
I'm really nervous to admit that I fell down the rabbit hole on Black TikTok, and I don't have an opinion on it. I want to lead with that. I just have to say, white people don't argue about shit. White people can figure out a couple of lessons by watching a Black argument happen. Go to Black TikTok and follow it. Follow everything. Because they're over there arguing about real shit. Like identity, race, gender, propaganda, culture, and music. Real shit. White people ain't arguing about shit. We ain't talking about nothing important.